think Melody purposefully did the rooms like that because she don't like some of the girls.
No, I think that you did that rooms like that.
Well,
like
I can tell you. I can tell you that didn't happen.
I'm fucking with you, baby. I'm just playing. Don't get off it. I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
Look. I got real nail on you, baby.
They say the truth always comes out in the end. And when it comes to Carlos King, the man behind Love and Marriage Huntsville, that truth is finally bubbling to the surface. For months, rumors swirled, whispers spread, and fans were left wondering what really pushed Melody Shari away from the very show she built from the ground up. Was it the toxic drama?
Girls trips. So the thing is this, you've been on plenty of girls trips with your cast. Why are girl trips so complicated? Because there's a whole TikTok discussion, Dr. Heavenly, about this episode and how this episode reflects how girls trips never go right. Why is that?
Because half them hoes really don't like each other. And to me, it's never fair. It's all about who you like and who you don't like. Like, to me, if I like Melody, I'm going to say that she didn't fuck up them rooms on purpose. But if I don't like Melody, I'm like, look, she knew what room she put them in. Because Destiny, she clearly don't like. Because that's Martell's friend. And she put them in. So it's all about who you like and who you don't like, nothing else.
Was it the never-ending battles with Martell? Or was there something deeper, something fans weren't supposed to know? Well, Carlos King just exposed the truth, and let me tell you, it changes everything. But here's the twist: this isn't just about a woman leaving a reality show. This is about loyalty, power, and the dark side of reality TV that no one talks about. And once you hear the full story, you'll never look at Love and Marriage Huntsville the same way again.
People who are on a path of self-destruction, and that's all they know is self-destruction. It ain't nobody doing it to you. It ain't nobody forcing you nothing. You are self-destructing yourself. Okay? Somebody said toxic leadership.
So grab your seat, because we're about to dive into one of the messiest scandals Huntsville has ever seen. When Love and Marriage Huntsville first hit our screens, it felt different. This wasn't just another reality show full of scripted chaos. It was polished, yet raw. It showed successful Black couples balancing business, family, and friendships. And at the heart of it all? Melody Shari and Martell Holt. They were the golden couple, the face of Huntsville's Black excellence.
To be said, so I'm gonna say it. But when you are in a leadership position, or so-called leadership position, or executive position, cleanser and mango, it's just certain things that you just supposed to like you don't talk about you don't talk about your people that's putting a check in your pocket. You don't.
But if we're keeping it real, Melody was the engine that kept the whole machine running. She brought the transparency, the tears, the triumphs. She didn't just tell her story, she let the audience live it with her. From her business moves to her marriage struggles, fans connected to her because she was real. She didn't fake it for the cameras. She gave it all. Carlos King knew exactly what he had on his hands. Melody was a producer's dream, unapologetic, ambitious, and willing to be vulnerable. Without her, there was no Huntsville.
Stand by that. I still stand by that. But Melody seemed to be really bothered by the commentary that people have had about this last episode. And I was actually surprised by her reaction, because it was like, because usually people have said so many things about Melody over the years and you don't really see her go off too much. So it's been a while since she's gone off. So she decided to, on multiple TikTok lives as she's packaging orders for her beauty line, she went off a couple of days in a row. First on toxic leadership.
Period. And fans knew it too. She wasn't just one of the cast. She was the foundation. But what happens when the foundation starts to crack? Behind the scenes, things weren't as picture perfect as they seemed. Melody's marriage was unraveling in front of the cameras. Martell's infidelity became a storyline, but it wasn't just good TV. It was Melody's real life, her real pain, her real family being torn apart. And while fans sympathized with her, many began to wonder if the show was exploiting her heartbreak for ratings. That's where the tension with Carlos King began. See, Melody wasn't just a cast member. She was smart, business-minded, and she understood the game. She saw how the narratives were being shaped, how certain moments were being edited, and how her pain was becoming the centerpiece of every season. And slowly but surely, she started to feel like the show that was supposed to uplift Huntsville was tearing her down instead. Carlos, on the other hand, saw things differently. To him, this was reality TV at its finest, raw, unfiltered, and impossible to look away from. Melody's story was driving the ratings, and ratings meant survival. But what nobody expected was Melody deciding she had had enough. Now here's where Carlos finally exposed the truth. For the longest time, he kept things vague whenever people asked about Melody's departure. He brushed it off, made it seem like she was just moving on, like it wasn't that deep. But in recent interviews, Carlos finally let his guard down and the truth spilled out. According to Carlos, Melody didn't just leave because of Martell. She left because she no longer trusted the process. She felt like her image was being twisted, that the show was becoming less about real life and more about tearing her down for entertainment. And that broke her spirit. Carlos admitted that the producers pushed certain storylines harder than others, and yes, that often put Melody in the hot seat. He even confessed that the show had become toxic in ways he never imagined at the start. He said it was supposed to highlight successful black couples, but somewhere along the way, it turned into survival of the fittest. Melody was in the middle of it, and I can't deny that. That one statement changed everything. Because for the first time, Carlos King wasn't hiding behind polished answers. He admitted the show had failed Melody. But here's the part that shocked fans the most. Carlos revealed that he begged Melody not to leave. He wanted her to stay, promising things would change, promising she wouldn't be painted as the villain anymore. But Melody's mind was made up. She knew her peace, her sanity, and her future were worth more than any contract or any check. And in that moment, Carlos admitted, he realized something that hurt him as both a producer and a friend. Melody was bigger than Huntsville. Now, think about that for a second. For a producer like Carlos King, who prides himself on building hit shows, that's a hard pill to swallow. To realize that one star has outgrown your platform, that they no longer need you, that they can walk away and still thrive, that's the ultimate reality check. And Melody proved him right. The moment she stepped away, her career didn't slow down. If anything, it soared. Her skincare business grew. Her music touched fans in ways the show never could. Her speaking engagements and brand deals proved she was more than just Martell's ex-wife or the Queen of Huntsville. She became her own powerhouse. Meanwhile, the show struggled to fill the void. Fans complained the energy was gone, that the storylines felt forced. Ratings dropped. And suddenly, Carlos found himself answering questions he never wanted to face. Can Huntsville survive without Melody Shari? But here's the emotional gut punch. Carlos admitted that losing Melody wasn't just about the ratings. It was personal. He confessed that he underestimated how much pressure she was under, how much of herself she was giving, and how little she was getting back in return. In his own words, "I thought I was protecting her, but I wasn't." That's the truth he finally exposed. For fans, it confirmed what they already suspected. Melody didn't leave because she couldn't handle the drama. She left because she refused to let the drama consume her. She walked away because she chose herself. And Carlos, whether he likes it or not, had to admit she made the right decision. The fallout from that truth is still being felt today. Fans are divided. Some blame Carlos for letting things spiral, others think Melody should have stayed and fought for her spot. But one thing everyone agrees on is this: Love and Marriage, Huntsville will never be the same without her. And here's the bigger picture. Carlos King exposing the truth about Melody isn't just about reality TV. It's about the price of authenticity. It's about how far producers will go for ratings, and how much pain people are willing to put on display for the world to see. Melody's story is a reminder that behind every juicy storyline is a real person with real scars. In the end, Melody leaving wasn't a loss. It was a breakthrough. She showed the world that walking away doesn't mean failure, it means strength. And Carlos, by finally exposing the truth, unknowingly gave her the ultimate validation: she was always bigger than the show. So now, the real question is this: will Love and Marriage Huntsville find its footing without Melody, or will the truth Carlos revealed be the very thing that seals its fate? One thing is certain: when the queen leaves the castle, the kingdom is never the same. At the end of the day, what Carlos King revealed about Melody's departure wasn't just shocking, it was heartbreaking. It showed us that even the strongest women can be broken down by environments that no longer serve them, and sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away. Melody's decision wasn't about quitting, it was about protecting her peace, her children, and her future. And if you really think about it, that's the bigger lesson here. Reality television might entertain us, but the people living through those storylines pay the price. We tune in for the drama, but for Melody, those tears weren't scripted. That pain was real. And the fact that Carlos finally admitted it proves what fans always knew: she wasn't being dramatic, she was surviving. But what's most powerful is what happened next. Instead of fading into the background, Melody used her exit as fuel. She built businesses, expanded her music, and showed the world she could stand on her own. She turned every wound into wisdom, every loss into leverage, and every betrayal into a blueprint for success. That's what makes her story so inspiring. Carlos may have exposed the truth, but Melody exposed something far more important: the strength of a woman who refuses to be defined by a show, a man, or a storyline. She's living proof that when you choose yourself, you never really lose. So, as fans, we have to ask ourselves, what does this mean for Love and Marriage Huntsville? Can a show survive when its heart is gone? Or did Carlos unknowingly reveal that Melody was always the glue holding it all together? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain: Melody's legacy is already written. She's bigger than Huntsville, bigger than the drama, and bigger than the pain. She chose freedom over fame, and in doing so, she reminded every viewer that protecting your peace will always be more valuable than chasing a paycheck. And maybe, just maybe, that's the real truth Carlos didn't mean to expose. Melody didn't just leave the show, she rose above it. When you step back and really look at it, Melody's exit wasn't just another reality TV plot twist, it was a cultural moment. It forced fans, producers, and even cast members to take a hard look at what happens when real people become entertainment. We've seen it time and time again across reality television. Stars who shine the brightest are often the ones who pay the heaviest price. But Melody's story shows what happens when someone decides their life is worth more than the storyline. Think about it: how many women in her position would have stayed? How many would have swallowed their pain, kept filming, and continued to sacrifice their peace just to hold on to fame? Most would. But Melody didn't. She broke the cycle. She said no. And that no became the loudest, most powerful statement she could ever make. Carlos King exposing the truth made it even clearer. He didn't just confirm the rumors, he exposed the cost of chasing ratings. He admitted that behind the glitz and the drama, there were sacrifices nobody talked about. And in that moment, fans finally understood what Melody had been carrying all along. The late nights. The constant criticism. The betrayal playing out in front of millions. That weight wasn't just heavy, it was suffocating. And yet, Melody walked through it with grace. She didn't burn bridges on her way out. She didn't drag anyone down. She simply chose to protect her energy, her family, and her future. That's not weakness, that's strength. That's wisdom. And that's the kind of move that inspires thousands of women watching from home who might be stuck in their own toxic environments, wondering if they're strong enough to walk away. Here's the irony: by leaving, Melody actually became more powerful than she ever was on the show. Outside of the cameras, she built a brand that was fully hers. No edits, no producers, no storylines, just Melody. The music, the businesses, the speaking engagements, they were all chapters she wrote for herself. And fans followed, not because of a contract, but because of connection. They wanted to see her win. Meanwhile, Love and Marriage Huntsville was left scrambling. The same producers who thought the show could survive without her quickly learned that she was the heartbeat. She was the reason people tuned in. And once that heartbeat was gone, the show lost its rhythm. That's the kind of impact you can't fake and you can't replace.